Thanks for joining us for another edition of Weekend Winners, the Albion Park Carnival, the TAB Constellations Carnival for 2022. It starts this weekend. We've got 4 super nights of racing coming through at the Creek. This Saturday night, the feature, the inaugural edition of the Queensland Sun. There's plenty at stake with this race as well. Not only really good prize money, but the winner of this race is guaranteed to start in next week's feature, the Group 1 Rising Sun. So that will guarantee Queensland, the host state, has 2 runners in that feature because, as we know, Leap to Fame has already been invited and accepted. So whoever wins this race on Saturday night is going to be starting in that Group 1 feature the following week. We're going to catch up with Narissa McMullen and Brendan Barnes, both young drivers and both with really good books. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they say ahead of this weekend. The TAB Constellations is now upon us. We've got 4 great nights coming up over the next 4 weeks, and Saturday night, what a way to start the carnival at Albion Park with so many features. Narissa McMullen joins us. She's in the hot seat. Narissa, appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me on, Chris.
Let's start with race 2, your first drive on Saturday night. Hey, Mr. Taylor, he's a last start winner, but he is facing a second row draw. How do you assess his chances?
He's racing well, but he always finds the sort of Saturday night racing a little bit stronger. He needs plenty of luck and, yeah, just probably needs everything to go his way in these sort of races. But he will eventually win one. Just don't know if this week's will be the week.
Okay, you've got Gendon Strike in 1, Carla Jane drawn to your inside, so the inside of the second row. Is 3 fence an option for Hey Mr. Taylor here?
I think so. It's probably going to be the best spot for him.
He is going well, like he's sectionally really consistent, and it came as no surprise that last start win.
Yeah, exactly, and he can follow speed as well, so yeah, if we're sort of sitting there and get a good trip, he should finish off okay.
All right, another one for Ron Sellers, race 5, but this one's got a horrible draw, gate 7, Delightful Reason. Her last start, though, was terrific.
She's going super, but she keeps drawing bad in these Band 5 races, which just makes it hard for her. Probably just have to go back from the draw and sort of get a bit of luck, but she won't be far off winning one of these races as well.
Just looking at it, how do you assess that frontline speed? Is there just too much to your inside? Do you just want to grab up and go straight back, or do you sort of float off and have a bit of a look early?
Yeah, there looks to be a little bit of speed there. I think she's better if you don't really burn her, but in saying that, if she could sort of just float out and get a spot there, that'd make her chances a lot better.
That's got to be frustrating for Ronnie. She's going really well, but she just can't draw.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's move across now to race number 7, Infatuation. He continues to race in super form. Another one for Ronnie Sellers here. Drawn 2 off the second row. Just looking at this race, they're going to go hard. It's going to generate strong speed.
Yeah, if there's plenty of speed on, he'll finish off really well like he has been. And I think he can sort of run into the finish here.
Okay, the obvious question, do you look to go to the pegs early, or do you want to hold your spot 1 off?
Just have to sort of sum things up after the start. Probably depends how far back in the running line we are, but if there's plenty of speed on, yeah, he could sort of run into it. Yeah, just see what happens.
All right. Do you expect speed with Crunch Time drawn 1, Jillaby Kung Fu 4?
Yeah, I sort of think Jillaby Kung Fu probably has to press forward and Crunch Time in front. Hopefully there is a bit of speed on.
Okay, and your old mate's lining up here. It Ain't the Money. He's gone to the stables of Jason Grimson, so a change in scenery there?
Yeah, he could be a Swiftie in this too. He's going well as also.
Yeah, of course, he trialled in 1:49 there, chasing home I Cast No Shadow on Monday afternoon. But you do rate Infatuation as a solid chance there?
Yeah, I think he can sort of run into a place with the right run.
All right. The big one on Saturday night, the Group 2 Queensland Sun, first time being staged. Winner of this race guaranteed a spot in the Rising Sun, the Group 1 feature, the following week. This has been a target race for some time for Slip the Hundy. He was brilliant last week. Was that his best win last week?
I think so. He did plenty of work in the run and such quick time and still sort of did it fairly comfortably. You know, he's a really good horse, and I just sort of try to let him do the talking, and hopefully he can continue to do that Saturday night.
Okay, went a tick over 51, winning this race here last week, and as you said, he was forced to do some work. How pleasing was it that, you know, he proved to you that he's just as strong as what he is fast?
Yeah, that was very pleasing. He's just continued to improve with each run, and I think sort of getting a little bit of hard racing into him before going into Saturday night has probably been a really good thing, and I couldn't be happier with him this week. His work's been super.
Okay, so you've timed it to perfection. You'll run to the Queensland Sun?
I think so. I'm hoping sort of everything's going to plan, and couldn't be happier with him.
All right. What was the initial reaction when the barrier draw came out? 2 off the second line.
Initially, I probably thought it wasn't a bad draw, but in saying that, sort of now that I've assessed things, maybe could be a little bit tricky. Manila Playboy's the big winner from the draw, I think. You know, if he sort of slides to the front and gets it pretty easy out in front, he's going to be very hard to catch.
Okay. How do you rate the 3-year-old, the Redcliffe Derby winner, Tim's a Trooper in Gate 1?
Yeah, he's racing really well and he's going to get the good trip. So, yeah, he'll definitely make his presence felt in that also.
All right, but you're not swapping?
No, I wouldn't swap Undy for anything in the field. You know, I think he's a really good horse, and hopefully he can sort of go out and prove me right.
Yeah, excellent. Let's hope he does. Race 9. Here's another stable star. I'm sure he's starting to push Undy as far as being the stable favourite. Global Flight. 3 starts here, 3 wins, and he looks like he's getting bigger and stronger every time he starts.
Yeah, he is. He's just such a cool little fella. He does everything right and just wants to win, so that's all you can ask for.
Did he surprise you how well he got away last week?
Yeah, he did. He got away really well, but then he sort of seems like he eased himself up a little bit. I think he's probably got into the habit of that just with how they drove him in New Zealand. So hopefully we can hustle a little more early this week and hold the front would be good. Well,
last week was 2,600 metres. You're back to the 2,100, so it's going to take a good one to beat you on his current form.
Yeah, I think he probably prefers the 2,100 a little bit. So yeah, if we can lead up, he's going to be very hard to catch.
Doff your cap, is that the obvious horse to beat?
Oh, definitely. He was super last week and very quick, so probably got to just sort of make him chase.
Okay, so bottom line with Global Flight, have you reached the bottom of him just yet?
I don't think so. His work this week was super. He just feels big and strong, and he just loves his racing, so hopefully he just continues to get even better.
I asked that question because originally the DJA wasn't really part of his agenda, but given how he performed in those first 2 starts, you decided to have a throw at the stumps, and here we are. He's won his first heat, and he's probably going to start favourite for his second heat here on the weekend.
Yeah, it's a little bit unbelievable, really. Sort of bought him with this not in mind, but now he's actually a real chance in it. It's pretty exciting.
Okay, decision time now. You've got a good book of drives here on Saturday night. Which one is the one you're most looking forward to?
I'll go with Slip the Hundy.
Okay, Slip the Hundy in the main race, the Group 2 Queensland Sun. Narissa, as always, really appreciate the time. Fingers crossed, best of luck there on Saturday night.
Thanks, Chris.
Well, Brendan Barnes is set to play a really big role over the next 4 weeks at Albion Park. He's got some key drives, and he's got one of those on Saturday night, and he joins us now. Brendan, appreciate the time.
No worries, Chris.
I'm sure you're looking forward to the next month. Let's start with race 4, though, on Saturday night. The Group 1 Golden Girl, reigning Queensland Horse of the Year, Gerarda's Delight. She was first up at Redcliffe last week. I thought she was terrific. What can you tell me out of last week?
Yeah, we were really happy with that. We sort of drove her in a manner which sort of probably no one's really seen her driven in. We sort of done a bit of work early, and then we had to bring her wide, sort of probably a bit earlier than we would have hoped to. But she hung a little bit around the last corner and sort of wanted to go more sideways rather than forward, so she probably couldn't really make up as much ground at a time we needed to, sort of when we wanted to. But we were really happy with her run, and she's just going to keep improving off that.
All right, so back to the bigger track at Albion Park. Much more to her liking?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously the gate's not kind again, but sort of that race sort of been drawn on Mare's ratings, and what she's done sort of over the last 12 months has put her in that position.
All right, so this race on Saturday night, will this be her last start before the Group 1 Golden Girl, or do you plan on starting her again next week?
Yeah, she'll race right up too. She'll race every week. She seems to thrive on racing, and we'd sort of had it mapped out with the trials and the race starts that hopefully if she races sort of week to week, by the time the Golden Girl gets here, she'll be cherry ripe.
Okay, and that's typical of the Bettor's Delight progeny. They thrive on racing. But just on the way she is now compared to this time last year, how big of a difference is there with her? Yeah,
well, last year she was just absolutely flying sort of for maybe 3 or 4 months leading into the winter, and we said the whole way along last year that we could win a feature race if we got a bit of luck. But this year she just seems to be a little bit stronger and we drove her against her pattern on Saturday night, and we tried her pretty solid against her pattern. Now she sort of likes to prefer to race, and she just seems to be taking it all in her stride and getting a bit better every week.
Okay, she's clearly the class runner in this field on Saturday night, and that's why she's got gate 7. Do you have to drive her out of her comfort zone again?
I think we'll probably be similar to Saturday night. To sort of last Saturday night, we'll just float across and sort of see who's going where. She's definitely probably the class runner of the race, but in saying that, there's also a lot of speed and a lot of go-forward horses underneath her. So we'll just have to, probably just float across and then sort of work out whether we want to go forward or back from there.
All right, well, that's Gerarda's Delight. Let's move on to race 6 that Wondi's made open. Your driver's Deus Ex. The most obvious thing for Deus Ex, back to the mobile start. The stand start for him, it didn't work last week, did it?
No, he just wasn't happy being off the back row, so he didn't have a lot of room to move. We had to sort of get him right up on the helmet of the 2 horse, and it sort of was a little bit fractious itself, not wanting to sort of stand too still. And he's an angry big horse at the best of times, and once you upset him, that's sort of normally game over. And he was quite upset there on Saturday. Okay,
so he's got to overcome a second row draw here on Saturday night. Just looking at it, it looks like there's going to be a lot of pressure in this race over the mile.
Yeah, it does. It looks a cracking field, and obviously our draw's not kind, but it'll sort of be interesting to see how he'll follow that good speed doing no work.
Are you confident that he can follow a good speed?
Yeah, I think so. We haven't really driven him that way, sort of in a field like that. Whenever we've sort of driven him off speed, it's sort of been a slowly run race and a walk and sprint. So it would be good to not use him early and get a cosy sit, and if they go hard, see how he follows that.
Okay, race number 7, Sam is Perfection. He's chasing 3 straight wins here on Saturday night, but he comes into this race as a last start track record holder. Did that surprise you last Saturday night?
Yes and no. Sort of the way the race was run in the small field, not at all. But like, he's the sort of horse, he never runs a bad race. He's always sort of the same week in, week out. He follows speed super well, and he's always sort of finishing amongst the pack. So yeah, it sort of was right into his hands on last Saturday night in the small field. But obviously you'll find this week a lot tougher, and we'll probably just have to go back and up the fence. But he'll sort of finish amongst them.
Okay, is he a stable favourite just because he's so genuine?
Yeah, he is. Everyone sort of likes him around the place. He never runs a bad race. He's done a terrific job. He's sort of come up here just to sort of run through his grades a little bit, and I think we were having a look the other day, and he's won maybe 14 or 15 races at Albion Park, and he now is the Redcliffe track record holder, so he's just done an absolutely terrific job.
Yeah. Speaking of speed, like we were talking about in the Wondi's, mate, this is going to generate tempo as well. Crunch Time in 1, Jalebi Kung Fu in 4, maybe It Ain't the Money runs out as well, so there's going to be a hot tempo being set here.
Yeah, you'd think so, and we'll just look to have a quiet trip and follow the shortest way home, and if we get a bit of luck, hopefully we can maybe sneak into some money.
Okay, the big one on Saturday night is the Group 2 Queensland Sun. Plenty up for grabs here, not only the prize money, but trying to cement a spot in next week's feature, the Rising Sun. Cashed Up started in the Rising Sun last year as a 3-year-old. Can he force his way into the field this year?
It's a sticky draw, and sort of it's a very tricky race with draws and things like that, but he probably isn't at his 100% best. He was a good winner out last time, but he's probably not as sharp as he was sort of this time last year heading into the Rising Sun, but we know he's a quality horse, and if he sort of does happen to bring his A game and he gets the right sort of luck, he can definitely win, that's for sure.
When I was looking at the tab markets for this race, I thought he was just being a little disrespected. He's fairly big odds in this, and his form's really good. He's a last start winner. Yes, the draw's a little sticky, but I just thought he probably deserved a little bit more respect.
Yeah, he's a horse, he's never far away, and he follows speed really well, and he's got good high speed himself, and he's getting quite deep into his prep now. He's had probably half a dozen runs under his belt, so he should nearly be sort of nearing maximum fitness, and his win there not long ago should have done him a world of confidence.
Tactically, you've got Manila Playboy to your inside. He's probably likely to go forward. In fact, he's probably got to go forward. Can you slide across with him and try and get handy?
Yeah, we don't have a lot of gate speed, so we'll just sort of have to just sort of see how he feels and sort of what's looking like being around us. But that's definitely going to be something that we'll want to look for, to sort of be as close to the speed as we can, because it's probably going to be sort of an on-pace sort of race. So yeah, if we can just be up there somewhere and hopefully with a nice trip.
Manila Playboy off that Patron's Purse victory, is he the horse to beat?
I think so. It'll just depend. There could be a bit of fireworks early. You sort of got Uncle Shank out wide and Hemsworth, and there's a bit of speed there, but his win in the Patrons Purse was super Manila Playboy.
All right, well, 4 good drives for you on Saturday night. Which one are you most confident about?
Probably the Stable Star, Drada's Delight.
We'll take the tip with the Golden Girl winner and the reigning Queensland Horse of the Year, race 4, number 7. Brendan, as always, good luck over the next couple of weeks.
Thanks, Chris.
As always, a big thanks to our drivers giving up their time and insights ahead of a very busy weekend. And Brendan and Narissa, we wish them the best of luck on Saturday night. Time now for a best bet. I think we'll strike early. Race 1, number 1, Tommy Lincoln. He's finally back at Albion Park. He's finally back under mobile start conditions, and he's finally back at his favourite trip, 1 mile. I think he'll make a bold bid for victory here. He might be capable of going all of the way. I think he is. Race 1, number 1, Tommy Lincoln, marking him as the best bet. If you are gambling this weekend, and why wouldn't you be with this huge program, 11 races, there's a triple jackpot of $10,000 on races 6, 7 and 8. Bet with your head, not over it. We'll see you trackside, 11 races. Action starts at 5:05.